bring to you now a young man who is 100% life dedicated to self-determination for our people. I've known him for many years. My chairman and my ally and my best friend, the Honorable Hashim Nzinga, God rest his soul, they were close. And Brother Ramzu Yunus, who is a human rights leader and self-determination advocate. He's normally known for being around America, but he's often seen around the world. And he's on the banks of the Nile River right now. And he's on the banks of the Nile doing something that's very important for us. And he's standing up. He's publicly saying that this is a solution to the tyranny of Donald Trump. It's self-determination, and he's on the ground carrying it out. So without further delay, I want you to hear from the banks of the Nile, my brother, 100% dedicated. I respect what he's doing and who he is, the Honorable Brother Ramzu Yunus. Let's give him a round of applause, and brother, you have the floor.
All right, salute. Thanks, Comrade Malik. You're doing a great job. I appreciate you. I'm sure everyone else appreciates you. Also appreciate the distinguished leaders who spoke before me, Brother Chris Sankara, Comrade Sankara, Comrade Melina Abdullah, and also Comrade Amun from Anubis. I'm a human rights policy officer, by the way, but I'm here in Egypt at the moment. But my greatest work, and the greatest work period on earth, remains on the soil of the United States of America. The name of this meeting was Meeting of the Black Minds in this time of national crisis. I like that title. I actually looked up the definition of national crisis, and the definition I read and saw was a situation or time at which a nation faces intense difficulty, uncertainty, danger, or serious threat to people and national systems and organizations, and a need for non-routine rules and procedures emerge accompanied with urgency. We are in a crisis. We've been in a crisis. Of course, Donald Trump kind of upped the ante on the crisis, but we've been in a crisis. So this crisis means we have to do something with urgency right now. Non-routine, I like that definition. Non-routine, meaning the rules and the procedures that we have been doing, we have to scrap them. If you're dealing with civil rights, scrap it. Just like Dr. King said and Malcolm X said before him, we can't deal with civil rights. We must deal with human rights. Yes, Dr. King abandoned the civil rights struggle in 1967 at a meeting in Frogmore, South Carolina. So let's abandon the civil rights. We're dealing with human rights. God-given natural rights that the United States can't amend. They can't rescind. Donald Trump can't rescind. So that's our power right now, is in human rights. I heard a meeting the other day in the build up to the Savior's Day meeting where it was stated that the Afro-descendant nation, the Nation of Islam, has no power to get reparations. We actually have all the power to get reparations. It's in our hand. It's not in the government's hand. Right is a power. Why? Because power involves resistance. I'm a power lifter. Those who follow me on social media see me every now and then doing my power lifting. I'm also an electrician, and both of them involve power. But power really can't exist. It's proportional to resistance. You have to have resistance if you want to display power. So a right actually has no resistance, no lawful resistance to your right. So you have ultimate power in the form of a particular right called the right of self-determination. The right of self-determination gives us the right to take over where we live, declare independence, if the collective agrees with us. And I think we are all top organizers on this call. We all can get the collective of our community to agree to be independent of the United States government's power. So especially now that Donald Trump is in power, we're wondering, what can we do? The Democratic Party, which is black people's so-called savior, has thrown in the towel. Some of you saw the news conference a week or so ago where Hakeem Jeffrey said, we have no leverage. There's nothing we can do. It's the Republicans' government. They run it. What can we do? We have no leverage. He threw in the towel. Because he's right. We have no leverage on the civil rights within the American government, especially as a minority in a minority. The Democratic Party is a minority party now in the government, and we are minority as black members of that. So we definitely don't have any win. So no, we have no leverage whatsoever as black people on the civil rights. But under human rights, our right of self-determination, we have all the power because we have the power to take power wherever we live and stop police brutality. I'm sorry, Malik, we're going to have to fire you because when we assert self-determination, we don't need the police brutality cases anymore. We're going to need you for your top organizing and then maybe to be our president or whatever you want to call it. But that's the power that we have. We do have leverage. We do have power. We can go and take control. Our great leader that was on earlier, Sister Comrade Melina Abdullah of Black Lives Matter, one of the top organizing forces in the past, 10 or 15 or 10 years, 11, 12 years, we saw millions hit the street behind Black Lives Matter. But whether Black Lives Matter adopted a human rights framework and went out there and said, look, we're not protesting and acknowledging your power. We're utilizing our human right of self-determination. So all the streets that we march in, all the cities we march in by the millions, we leave there with power and control of the police. That's a human right called self-determination. That's what we have a right to assert. We have a right to go into all of these cities. When we were in Ferguson, Missouri, there was enough of us to take over Ferguson, Missouri under human rights, under self-determination. We couldn't do it under civil rights. So brothers and sisters, I'm a human rights policy officer. What I have to offer is, first of all, my consultation and my thinking that comes from Malcolm X, came from just nature in general. God himself said, govern yourself. Take over, he told the children of Israel, assert your right of self-determination over Egypt. Take over that land and govern yourself. Now, United States, the Pharaoh himself has written it into law saying, black people, you have a right of self-determination. 2016, United States government had a hearing on self-determination. The chairman of that hearing, Dana T. Rohrabacher, Congressman Rohrabacher, said, all we have to do is hold a vote, and it's adios to the United States government. So that's what the African Descendant Nation has been speaking of. That's what we have been organizing in Detroit since 2016. You all have followed us. Y'all saw us with tens of thousands of people responding, hitting the streets in Detroit, to the extent that the federal government had to come in and take over from Highland Park in Detroit to deal with us and threaten us. And that's why we do need people like Anubis, those tactical forces, because I was told, I'm not going to throw them under the bus, but I was told by a high-ranking city official in Detroit and Wayne County that we do need a force because he acknowledged that his own police force was illegally, forcibly denying us to assert self-determination by interfering with our vote. So we need all of those on board. But that's what we should be doing in this hour, if this is a national crisis. If you don't see it as a crisis, keep doing what you're doing and allow women to be shot in the face at point-blank range by police. Keep allowing that. But if this is a crisis, let's act like a crisis and let's respond with non-routine procedures, meaning don't do what we've been doing, and let's do something different with urgency. Right now, somebody's going to get killed by police today, tomorrow, or next week. So how are we going to respond to that crisis? Let's organize ourselves. Let's mobilize like Black Lives Matter did. Let's hit these streets and say, look, we're declaring independence. Now automatically Donald Trump has no power over us. That's our leverage. So Hakeem Jeffries, Democratic Party, go ahead and throw in the towel. That's y'all civil rights arena that you all are dealing with. But black people, we're responding to this urgency and we are declaring our independence from this system via our right of self-determination. And that's all the leverage we need. That is ultimate power because it can't be resisted lawfully. That's all I have to say, brothers and sisters. Salute.
Okay, salute and black power to y'all. Let's give them a strong black hand. A strong black hand for such a strong statement. Brother Ramzu, I guess we can follow what you do on your Facebook page, right?
Yes, sir. We will be in Detroit. I'm coming back to America. We will be in Detroit July the 4th. If you see the picture on my screen behind this, humanitarian intervention, because there is a crisis, like you called this meeting, and we're going to respond to that crisis by hitting the ground and taking the city via our right of self-determination, and hopefully other cities will follow suit. And you all are welcome to join us. And even if you want to do it in your city, Human Rights Policy Officers, we will help you organize, but it's time. It's a national crisis, and this is our response. Love you all. Salute.
Love you all. Thank you so much, Brother Ramzu Yunus, a great man and a great organizer in this hour. Let's give him a strong hand, everybody.